museum back to life.
You know, people sit out on the front porch hoping people will come by.
Go forth and do good. It's insane. I have the most understanding wife in the world.
I treat everybody the same thing.
Oh, that's the other thing I love about Marietta. It's like a melting pot.
You are listening to Marietta Stories. Each week, veteran podcaster Bill Nowicki brings you the heartwarming, interesting, and fun stories from the people that make the community of Marietta, Georgia, a place to call home. Here's your host, Bill Nowicki.
Hey everyone, June 12th happens to be the day that they're celebrating Kennestone Hospital opening. Kennestone, by the way, is a conglomeration of Kennesaw Mountain and Stone Mountain. They came up with Kennestone. Anyway, 70 years ago today, Kennestone opened. And of course, it's changed a tremendous amount. I got to speak with Mary Chatman, who's the president of Kennestone, and we talked about the opening, the new opening date of the quadrupling of the size of the emergency department. That's coming in July, but she'll give you the date. Also, I spoke with Joyce McMurrain, who's been at Kennestone for 55 years as a nurse, and Eartha Head showed up for this celebration, and she started out at Kennestone too many, many years ago. Thanks to everyone that works in the healthcare field, and especially the folks that work at Kennestone. I really, really appreciate it. I know the community does too. So let's hear from all these folks at Kennestone on their very happy birthday. I have the president of Kennestone Hospital, and we're out front. Why are we out front, Mary?
We are out front because 70 years ago, there were some amazingly visionary people who decided that Marietta needed a hospital to serve their community.
And it was an integrated hospital too.
It was one of the first integrated hospitals. I just was telling someone the other day, a lot of things have changed about the programs as we have grown, but our mission has not changed. The visual and the work that we do demonstrates that we are the beacon for the community.
Yeah, I can't believe all that's going on in this world, especially in healthcare. I just read about your new ER, quadruple the size of the ER. It's like the 5th largest already, and $161 million project. You have so much going on, but I also saw a lady coming out of the labor delivery of a brand new baby. So life goes on here at Kennestone.
It does. That's a very good point that you make. And what we describe ourselves as is that we represent healthcare in the community from the beginning of life, that being when families are deciding that they want to consider conceiving or adopting, to the end of life. Our goal is to surround our patients and our family members with healthcare providers that you see some of them today that's going to help me sing happy birthday and celebrate, so that we always are there for our community.
How are you doing right now in the midst of this pandemic?
I'm doing good.
Sleepless nights?
There were a lot of sleepless nights, especially about 8 or 9 weeks ago. The good news is that we have worked very collaboratively with our community and our local government and our community partners, and the stay at home and all of the things that the community has been so patient with us as an organization. We have seen the difference. We have far less COVID positive patients in our organization. We have less critical care patients who are COVID positive, and we do still have some. We're starting to get back to some level of normalcy. We are encouraging, though, patients who were afraid otherwise to come to the hospital during the COVID. We're encouraging them to not delay their care, because we are seeing patients who are coming back and they're far sicker. Right. And so we're trying to make sure that people know that we're here for them, that they are safe to come here, and again, we're always available to make sure that they're well.
Yeah, I noticed you an RN. How does that inform your work here today as the president? How do you bring that experience of being an RN on the front lines to your job now?
Well, I appreciate that question. Actually, I started a very long time ago, I'm dating myself, as not even an RN, but as a nursing assistant. Oh, okay. Having the background of having come up through the organization working on the front lines, I'm very proud of that. My team, I think if you talk to them, that they would say sometimes it's a good thing and sometimes it's not so good, because I know a very granular level of information to ask. Right. So I think what it has at least allowed me to bring to the table quickly is a level of credibility. That when I am entrusting my leaders to lead, and I try to do that on a day-to-day basis, that they know that I can represent their voice. It doesn't take them a long time to explain to me what's happening in their world, because for the most part, I have worked or managed in every department in a hospital except the finance department. One that helps me to identify great talent, because I can smell out the ones that are ready to roll their sleeves up and get the work done. And then also I can be a champion. And then the other is, I can straight talk with my team. My team knows that I'm there for them. They also know that it's not easy to pull the wool over my eyes. Right. So we make a lot of magic here because of my background and because of the amazing leaders I have.
Let's talk about the emergency room real quick. I know it's getting close to 2. We're going to start in a couple of minutes. We're going to sing happy birthday. But tell me about the emergency department. When's that going to open? I know you've probably been delayed.
You are going to hear you're going to be the first person that we're telling this date to.
Boy.
We are going to open on...
It's be getting close then.
Yes, it is. July the 23rd.
July the 23rd.
Yes, indeed. We had delayed the opening just because, as you alluded to, the COVID, but we are working to now transition on the 23rd. We're excited about that, and we'll open the first floor, much of the second floor, and begin to care for patients in a new way, in a new facility.
Probably some new staff too.
Well, new staff, but you know what? Most importantly is we have been able to create magic in a very tight and condensed space. Just imagine how care is going to be in a larger facility with new technology. So we're excited about the outcomes we're going to be able to deliver in that building.
One last question, and we'll sing happy birthday. How does it feel to drive down Church Street and see the signs from people in the neighborhood that thank you?
Touches my heart every day. Not only do we drive down and see the signs on the sides of the street, during Easter, we decided that we were going to do a walk-through appreciation, and we had asked our community to create some posters. It's one of those examples is that be careful what you ask for, because you sure might get it. We got over 500 posters. We have felt very, very embraced by our community. They've given us food, they've given us goodie bags, they've given us PPEs and masks, they've given us millions and millions of prayers. They've been very patient with us in that they haven't been able to visit their family members in the organization. We just can't ask for better in this community and our local surrounding supporting communities.
All right, well, it's 2 o'clock. People are standing in the sun.
I know.
You're ready to
need to go sing happy birthday.
Let's do it. I'll go over there with you.
Now, can you sing?
I don't know, but I'll let you sing. Are you a good singer?
I'm not a good singer, but you know what? At this point, I think we can blend right in. They'll never know that we can't sing.
All right, good. I'll do it. Yeah, I think it's one of these things where it's more about the emotion behind it than it is the actual how well you sing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, I'll let you take it from here.
And I just want to, first of all, before we sing, to say on behalf of being your president, being lucky enough to be your president, I know y'all don't love me all the time, but at least most of the time, right? And on behalf of Candace Saunders, our CEO of our health system and our board, and all of our amazing supporters in our community, I see some doctors standing back there. Come on over here so you can sing with us. We just could not do it without each other. And the one thing that we do at Kennestone, and we have been doing it for 70 years, is what? Win. We like to win, don't we? Yes. We win for our community and our patients, and more importantly, especially now, we win for each other. So thank you all. I know times have been tough. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeff and let him show you how to harmonize. And I'm going to blend in. And as people are recording, it would be nice that if we can get a little swing going. Everybody's got to do it. Come on, Jeff, give it to me.
She's in charge of choreography.
Okay.
So everybody sing out. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kennestone. Happy birthday.
How do you say your last name, Joyce?
Oh, it's McMurrain
And Eartha Head. Exciting stuff.
Yes.
All right, you work at Cobb Hospital, Eartha, but did you start here at Kennestone?
Yes.
How many years ago was that?
I can't remember.
With Joyce, where you started in Joyce
McMurrain, yes.
McMurrain. When did you start?
August 3rd of 1965.
Wow.
Just a mere 55 years ago.
Wow, I was 3 at that time.
Oh, here we go. Everybody is not born or whatever by that time. Eartha and I are just hardy young folks.
So Kennestone at that time was what was it like?
It was the original hospital that had been 105 beds, then was about 350 when I came. And the only remaining part is now still the Baird building that was opened in 65. That will be our next project to demolish and build a tower, another bed.
Yeah, and we just talked to your president about
Yes.
the new emergency room. So Eartha, where did you start? When did you start?
Well, I first started in 1959 when I was an LPN. Wow. And I worked, and that was in the old building down in the G section. It was segregated at the time.
Ah.
So I worked a year and a half, then I went back to school. I came back in 1965 and I had a medical break. Started back in 1966 as an RN.
Oh, wow.
And so
Been here sooner than me, but I couldn't figure out.
I've been off the payroll. Well, actually, while I was in nursing school in Augusta, I would come and work on the weekends just to make a little money and spending money. And from that, I stayed until now. From 1966, January the 5th would be my 55th year.
Jeez. This was an integrated hospital. What was that like? What did it feel like to you?
Segregated, it was horrible, but we did what we needed to do. Being dedicated, we did it. Then when it was integrated, it was quite hard for a lot of people to make that change. Some people didn't want this nurse, meaning black. Some people didn't want a black patient in the room with them, or vice versa. But we worked it through, and it's where it is now.
Well, it's funny, the issues we're having in our society today. Any advice you would give folks to work through these type things? I'll put you on the spot.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a struggle, and it has been a struggle back before my time. Yeah. And it's going to continue to be a struggle until things are worked out where everybody is on the same level, treated equally as we treat our patients. Right. So you have to do a CPR.
Yeah, well, I think
Resuscitation and do it over and over and over and over until it's accomplished.
Yeah, I agree. What would you say, what was it like in the beginning when you started working here?
And I'm glad Eartha expressed that, because when I came here in August of 65, we were segregated, and I was very shocked because I came from the northern states where we didn't have that issue, or I was not aware of that issue. And I worked in Washington, D.C. in a 1,000-bed teaching hospital that primarily was inner city, so you never thought so much about race or issues. But she says it so eloquently, that there were issues. I worked in maternity, and so when women had their babies, if they were black, they had to go to G-section, which was just very different.
Worst case scenario, when we were doing that, we had all the services on one floor. Mother, baby, right behind the nurse's station, newborn nursery around the corner, surgery, pediatrics, geriatrics, isolation, all on one floor. When we had women that were pregnant and ready to deliver, we could not take that mother to be to the delivery room until we, as nurses, saw the crowning of the baby's head. Gosh. And my first scare, this baby was being born breech. And I would call the labor and delivery, ask for the doctor to come down. He wanted to know, how did I know? Well, I thought, I'm not stupid. So I said, well, I see meconium stool. That's black stool coming out the baby's rectum. He said, well, what? And I said, sure, that's what I'm seeing. And we had to check the mothers to see if they were fully dilated before they could go. The last call I made, I was screaming, get here quick, the elbow is sticking out. Then when he came, guess who got the cussing out? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Really? You should have known. I said, I have it documented. You know, they always say if you don't document, it's not written. It didn't happen. And he got the syringe. It just ripped this lady apart. She screamed, and that just broke my heart. And I thought, this is wrong. Take the nurse's word. We don't know all that you know, but we know a lot more than you know. So.
How's it? Has it gotten better?
I don't work in that department anymore.
Yes, it does. I was the executive director for Women's Services, and of course, we have very much the family-centered approach where families stay together. But, you know, I'm sure there's still issues that we will have to address in our future. But, you know, we've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go.
What does it feel like to have an RN as the president?
I love it. And we also have an RN who is our CEO for Wellstar, really? Candace Saunders. To many of us, you know, we are the closest to the patient and that team that works there with them. It is our opportunity to interface with the family and make a positive impression.
All right, last question. Why don't you retire? Why are you guys still working?
I haven't retired because I'm not ready to retire. I love what I'm doing. I'm dedicated. It keeps my mind functioning. I'm still serving the community. I work in behavioral health, and I tolerate a lot. So I think I can go another 5 if I chose to. Yes, I do.
Right. Oh, great. How about you, Joyce?
Ditto. As I've said, you know, and I masked that, and so is Eartha so many times, you know. I still feel like I can bring value to the system, and as long as they feel I bring value, then I will continue. So even while it was rumored about 10 years ago I was going to retire, I have not. I have learned to change and flex, and when opportunities arise, then I meet those challenges.
How about I lied, I'm going to ask you one more question. How about all the computer stuff? You guys keeping up with all that good stuff?
Well, when we went to Epic, that was my trying time. In 2014, I believe it was, I would just come home in tears. I can't do this. So, but once I learned to develop my own system, I don't have to ask anybody. I may not be able to go all over it every 2 seconds like they do, but I'll just be looking and making observations, and I think, okay, I got it.
That was probably the hardest thing.
Yeah, probably the hardest.
Yeah, you're probably good with people, not so much the technology's keeping up with that.
Yeah, focusing is my goal. Stay focused, knowing what I got to do, and knowing how I'm going to get there. And then when I get there, I've made my goal.
How about you, Joyce?
Well, I'm fortunate that I don't really use Epic because the people I oversee, they are the direct caregivers. But I've learned to master certain things with technology. I'm not so great yet on coming up with graphs and those type of things, so I have people to help with those. I'm always willing to learn, so we'll go forth and serve another 5 years. Eartha and I were going to see how long we could last.
You guys going to retire on the same day, you think?
No. I don't know. We haven't
play it by ear.
That yet.
Well, thank you so much, both of you. I know the community really treasures what you do here at Kennestone and Cobb Hospital and all the work you do. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Thanks so much for listening to Marietta Stories podcast, and thanks to the people at Kennestone Hospital for all they do to keep it safe. Wish them the best of luck in starting their new emergency department coming in July. And listen to Marietta Stories podcast. Tell a few friends about the show, and let me know if there's any good stories you need to hear by shooting me an email, bill@mariettastories.com. Thank you.